Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Eamonn Holmes has candidly discussed the key to a happy relationship while engaging with fellow GB News anchor Ellie Costello. Last year saw the presenter, 65, split from Loose Women star Ruth Langsford, also 65, after 14 years together. At the time, it was speculated their divergent work commitments were propelling them towards different directions. Subsequently, both Eamonn and Ruth have been discreet regarding their separation, though the Strictly Come Dancing celebrity has intimated she is relishing her newfound single status. Eamonn, concurrently contending with health woes and having grappled with an agonizing fall just a few weeks past, has entered into a novel romance with 42-year-old counselor Katie Alexander. The pair went public with their romance last year, embarking on a luxury Mediterranean cruise and being pictured together at several events, reports Belfast Live. While Eamonn has abstained from publicizing details of his romantic life, he has recently imparted wisdom on success in amorous partnerships. In conversation with Ellie about her partner, Eamonn inquired, "How important is it? For instance, when you met Gerard, did you look at him and think what a handsome bloke he is? Or did you wonder if he thinks politically, religiously and whatever in the same way?" Ellie's response was simple yet telling. "I just thought he was very tall and handsome." Continuing his inquiry, Eamonn pressed, "But would his politics and would his views on things have influenced you in some way?" Ellie remarked, "Not initially, no, but we do have the same politics. I think it makes life easier if you do. What about you? What do you think?" Eamonn concurred, "I think you're right. I think any partners I've ever had in life, I haven't deliberately gone looking for it, but I think they think the same as me." Eamonn and Ruth split after 14 years together, imaged Dave Bennett Getty Images. This comes after insiders claimed Eamonn and Katie were looking to take their relationship to the next steps. It was reported by one source that Katie wants to love and care for him, especially as he's in such a bad way with his legs and back and can't walk properly without assistance. Eamonn has suffered with chronic pain and mobility issues after slipping 3 discs in his back in 2021. He underwent spinal surgery the following year but has suffered major health setbacks recently, heartbreakingly saying he was on borrowed time and not okay. The studio lights had dimmed, the camera switched off, and the chatter of production crew faded into a distant hum. For the first time in weeks, Eamonn Holmes found himself alone with his thoughts. The divorce headlines had rolled endlessly across the tabloids, dissecting every detail of his split from Ruth Langsford, the woman who had shared both his sofa and his life for decades. But Eamonn wasn't one to dwell on bitterness. When he finally broke his silence with a rare comment on relationships, it wasn't a barb or a lament, but something altogether different, something reflective. Sitting in a quiet corner of a radio studio, he leaned closer to the microphone, his voice carrying the familiar warmth that had made him a household name. Relationships, he began slowly, are not about perfection. They're about two people growing, sometimes together, sometimes apart, and when they do end, it doesn't erase the love that once was. It just changes shape. His words, uncharacteristically tender, painted a picture of a man at peace with the turbulence that had defined his personal life. Listeners, many of whom had tuned in expecting the sharp wit and dry humor he was famous for, were surprised to hear a softness they hadn't encountered before. In the days following, social media lit up with praise. Fans described his remarks as brave and heartfelt, with one follower tweeting, "Eamonn just gave us all a lesson in dignity. No mudslinging, just honesty." Privately, Eamonn knew the world was curious. People wanted to know, was he lonely? Did he regret the choices that led to the end of a marriage watched by millions on television? But rather than feed gossip, he chose to use his platform to reflect on something deeper, the universal struggle of holding on and letting go. He recalled the early days with Ruth when laughter filled their mornings on This Morning and how their chemistry became part of Britain's daily routine. He didn't shy away from admitting that their paths had diverged, but he stressed the importance of compassion. It's easy to focus on what's broken, but relationships, even when they end, leave behind memories and lessons worth treasuring. What struck viewers most was his refusal to frame the split as a failure. Instead, he described it as a chapter closing, making way for the next. For a man often painted as gruff and outspoken, this was a rare glimpse of vulnerability, a side of Eamonn that resonated with anyone who had ever said goodbye to love. In the weeks that followed, invitations poured in for him to appear on talk shows and podcasts, each hoping to capture more of his candid reflections. But true to his nature, he chose his words sparingly, allowing that single rare comment to stand as both a farewell to one story and the quiet beginning of another. And so, while the headlines shouted about the split, Eamonn Holmes reminded the world of something quieter, something more lasting, that relationships may end, but respect, kindness and dignity never have to.